That's good actually, listen to talk for a while. Yeah. That's good actually, listen to talk for a while. Hello, can you hear us? Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties, so I hope this is working. We're just checking. 1 second. No. No. Hello? Hello?
You check this.
Yeah, we tested it. We could hear them. Oh. Okay, is that working? Sorry guys.
Sorry, it's always technical difficulties.
Okie doke. It seems to be working. Cool.
Yay!
Welcome to our webinar, our slightly technical issues. Happy Fundraising Friday! This is obviously our favourite day of the week for obvious reasons.
Everyone's favourite day of the week.
Indeed, indeed. So we've hopefully got a mix of people watching who are at different stages of their fundraising. So this is going to be a general discussion of various of like our favourite ideas, and some last minute bits as well as some just general tips. So the thing that we probably need to talk about first is sort of like the technical stuff. You should see, I think it should be down around this side, is the questions and answer section. We've got one question already. Thank you very much. We will get to that, but we would like you to submit your questions anytime from now. So the best way to do it, there should be a little green button that says, I believe, ask a question. And if you press that, and you can just type the question and it'll come up. And there should be, so there's a little +1 icon. So if someone asks a question that you really like the sound of, let us know and we'll make sure we answer that question by clicking the +1. So we'll see that as like a priority question.
Yeah. Just thought we haven't introduced ourselves.
We haven't introduced ourselves.
But glad we've got the technical stuff out of the way. So hello everyone. I'm Sarah. I am one of the fundraising support officers in the team. I work with mostly BSO volunteers. So hey guys, if some of you are watching, it's me. I was a volunteer as myself in Bolivia with International Service a few years ago. So been through the whole process, and I'm actually going through it now as well because I'm going to be a team leader with Prava later on this year. So yeah, I'm doing exactly the same thing as you guys. So don't worry, like hopefully we'll be able to work through it together.
My name's Josie. I work with rally volunteers and BSO volunteers. So hopefully some of you are here today. Hello. I also have been through it myself. I haven't actually been as an ICS volunteer, but I went as an ICS team leader, and I got back at the end of March. So I'm not long back, but I do remember fundraising. I was fundraising sort of like October, November time. So yeah, so essentially we've both been through it. We know that it can be quite challenging, and so feel free to talk, ask questions that you be honest in terms of the questions you're asking. Like, don't worry about asking us what you might think of as like silly questions. Shall we begin with the theme of fundraising, or with the video?
Yeah, should we start with the video?
So we're going to do a very complicated technical maneuver, screen sharing, so fingers crossed that'll work. And then, feel free to put your questions up about these things in the meantime, and we will answer any of those afterwards. But yeah, in the meantime, we've got like a general sort of fundraising plan video to show, and then we will get to a video about specifically doing a bake sale, which is one of our faves.
Love a good bake sale.
Absolutely, we do.
Okie dokes, let's see. Hopefully this will go well.
Bear with us. And here we go.
Welcome guys to the second video in our guide to ICS fundraising. I'm Sarah and I'm Jess, and we're here to help you break down a recipe for fundraising success. We know that when you get your fundraising target, you might not know where to get started. That's why we suggest that you break it down into smaller chunks. For volunteers with an £800 target, we recommend planning 4 to 5 different fundraising activities, and our recipe goes as follows. You want to start with your main ingredient. This is your flagship idea. It needs to be fun, creative, and have the wow factor. You're looking to raise between £200 and £300 with this event. Here are some suggestions. School fundraising. If you can get your old school to do a non-uniform day for you by offering to do an assembly or take a lesson when you get back from your placement, you're looking at a huge injection of cash. Quiz night. Great fun and a good way to get other people engaged with your fundraising. If you do other activities on the side, such as a raffle, you're looking at raising between £150 and £300 from each quiz night. Community fund day. If you've got links to a community organisation, running a fund day can be a great way to get other people involved and can raise lots of cash. Next, you want to add one sponsored activity. What would be a challenge for you? Or maybe you can use Dare to Donate. It's best not to have a cost associated, so here are some suggestions. The £5 food challenge. Spend 5 days with only £1 a day for all of your food and drink. Not only does this raise loads of sponsorship, but it also raises awareness of people who live under £1 a day in developing countries. Keep your Facebook up to date, or even set up a blog. Give it up. Do a digital detox, ditch the booze, or give up chocolate. Do something that you find challenging and people are much more likely to donate. A sports challenge. Try a run, a swim, or a bike ride. Or try all 3. A physical challenge is a really popular and successful way of getting people to sponsor you. You'll want to add a dash and a pinch of smaller activities as well, such as bake sales. These are a popular fundraiser for a reason. Who does not love cake? Run at least 2 of these to raise at least £50 to £100. Car boot sales. Collect up unwanted stuff from friends and family and do a clear out of your room. You're not going to be there for 3 months anyway. Head down to your local car boot, £100 a pop. Swap shop with clothes, books, and DVDs. Get people to bring their stuff on a certain date and pay to take part in the swap. One person's junk is another person's treasure. It's worth adding a backup activity just in case things don't work out. Try to think of this as your takeaway menu on standby. And here are a few suggestions. But remember, they're never guaranteed, so don't rely on them. Applying for grants. Have a look at what local trusts or foundations are available, or see if your local school or uni has a volunteering grant that you can apply for. Remember to get your application in early so that you've got a much better chance of being successful. Community groups. Local community groups might be interested in hearing about ICS and what you're going to do, and they may even give you a donation towards your fundraising. Get in touch with your local groups to find out. Backpacking at supermarkets. Slots are hard to come by, but if you can get in with 4 to 5 friends and pack people's bags for 3 hours, then you can expect approximately £50 per person. Remember, it's never guaranteed, but go in person well in advance and hopefully you'll be successful. Once you've decided what fundraising activities you're going to do, you need to set yourself 2 things. A target for each one and a deadline for each one. That way you know you're going to hit your minimum target by your final deadline. Thanks for listening, guys, and don't forget to stay in touch with your fundraising support officer.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that video. We did have a lot of fun making it. Highly fun. Yeah, so I hope it was useful as well as entertaining, especially the bandana. That's a very proud moment for me. So yeah, I think really the biggest the tip that we could give you is to break down your fundraising.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, it sounds so simple, but I think everyone feels daunted by being given a target that you have to reach. Obviously, you're all so excited about your placement, you really want to go. But it's really important that you don't see it as like one big target, because like I felt daunted by it.
Yeah, I definitely did. But we're
Fundraising.
professional fundraisers and we still felt nervous about fundraising. So don't feel like feeling nervous is a bad thing at all.
Absolutely. And like, please tell us, like, if you're feeling nervous. The more communication we have, the better. And
Absolutely.
we'll like totally understand. We've had volunteers. We've both been here for a while and have supported like volunteers from every kind of background situation. So whatever's going on with you, like, we will be able to come up with ideas and help. So yeah, definitely try and break it down.
And I think also with breaking it down, because not only does it take the pressure off because you've got lots of different things going on, but it also means, like, instead of seeing that target as one number, you're seeing it as like, oh, well, I'll raise £100 there, and I'll raise £100 from that. And if you think of it as like raising £100 at a time, or £200 or whatever, that is significantly less scary than seeing your target as this is the number I have to reach. You know, you'll have adequate time to reach it. And, you know, one thing that we do often hear is people feeling like they don't have enough time. But actually, you know, it's just about making sure that you're taking on enough, because we guarantee that there are 1,000,001 fundraising ideas out there. So as long as you're saying to yourself, I am, you know, prioritizing my fundraising and making sure I am taking on enough ideas, you will be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I just found it so much easier, to be honest. Like, as soon as I got selected to make a big fundraising plan, and I'm the kind of person that works well when I write things down. And with fundraising, the best thing you can do is just to be organized. So if you do the first step, there's another great video that we've made called network mapping. So if you want to start with that, that's on our YouTube channel. So check that out. And that's
just ICS is our YouTube channel.
So check that out, and think about ways that you can think about your networks and ideas that you can plan with them. But I would just say, write it all down, have a few backup ideas. I mean, normally we'd say plan 4 to 5 fundraising ideas, which, you know, as we said in the video, and try and get like different types of things. So you're not always going back to the same people and inviting the same people to events, or asking the same people for donations.
And also, even though it's hard, especially when you've not fundraised before, it's hard to know how much you'll raise from each activity. Try and have a target for each activity, because that means, you know, if you've got enough activities that you think, okay, well, each of those activities will raise enough for me to reach my target, you know, you're about the right point. You know, it's best to do that rather than just sort of saying, oh, well, I'll do this, see how that goes, and then see what else I need to do. Because by that point, there are some ideas you might not have the time to do, and that's really important to make sure that you're sort of ahead of the game, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we play the next video?
Yeah.
Why not?
We'll play a video, and then we'll come back and talk about some more of those ideas in more detail. And you know, maybe have a chat about questions that tend to come up.
Sure. This next one is on cake sales, which is definitely one of our absolute faves. So we will share our screen now. Hopefully
smooth,
should work.
not so smooth process normally, but bear with.
Okay, there we go. Cool. And this is showing our lovely colleagues.
Hi, and welcome to another of our ICS Fundraising Tips videos. My name's Liv, and this is Johnny, and we're here to tell you everything you need to know about the Humble Bake Sale.
Don't underestimate this classic fundraising idea. Running a couple of bake sales during your fundraising can bring in between £100 and £200, so it's definitely worth doing.
We're going to give you our top tips for running bake sales, and also show you a really simple recipe of how to make chocolate rice crispy squares, the easiest and cheapest of all bake sale options.
Tip 1, location. There are loads of great places that you can run a bake sale, but we'd recommend offices, where office workers are always going to be up for a cake, especially if it's their desk. Schools, it could be in the staff room, or it could be at lunchtime. And university libraries. Holding a bake sale outside the library is a perfect way to tempt in hungry students.
Tip 2, get the word out. Make sure people know it's happening. Group emails and posters are a great way to promote. Be clear about why you're fundraising as well, and have some posters on your table on the day.
Tip 3, delegate. Don't do all the baking yourself. Ask your friends and see if you can get one of them to donate a tray of cupcakes, a Victoria sponge, or even some flapjacks. It's definitely worth still doing something yourself though, which is why we're recommending these chocolate rice crispy cakes.
Tip 4, make enough cakes. We suggest having a minimum donation. We suggest a minimum donation of £1 per cake, and quite frankly, that's a bargain for a home-baked slice of deliciousness.
Tip 5, Just Thanksgiving. Once you've set up a Just Giving page, you can also set up a unique code that people can donate to via their phone bill. The money goes straight to your Just Giving page. This is perfect for a bake sale, where people might look tempted, but then they'll apologise and say they don't have any change. With this, they can still donate. So
down to the baking. Brilliant. Let's get started. And there we go. Really easy and really delicious. Thanks for watching.
And remember, contact your fundraising support officer if you have any questions.
Hello. Hi.
Oh, love that video.
Oh no, I am like genuinely. I'm not just saying this. I'm really hungry now.
Yeah,
So.
it is lunchtime.
Yes, it
And
is.
we're always thinking about food. That was our lovely, fabulous colleagues, Olivia and Johnny. They're both fundraising support officers as well. So they might be your fundraising support officer, and hopefully now you've seen their face and how much they love cake, you can feel like you can.
But we all relate to that cake loving feeling. And yeah, we would definitely recommend. I mean, it doesn't have to be a cake sale, although that is. I mean, that's my favourite. It could be anything food related, and it's a really good way to give people something in return for donation. I actually did, and I think you did too, a dinner party for our fundraising. So I think it went really well because it was, it was quite a casual thing, but it was like saying to people, I'm going to cook dinner, come round, give what you want. I mean, what I said was, like I said, a suggested donation, and I said, I didn't even say a number. I said, what would you pay for this in a restaurant? Which I think is quite a good way of doing it, because actually restaurants are quite expensive. So people ended up donating quite a bit. Yeah. So that was really good. And I spoke about my placement. I told people what I was actually going to do, because what you'll find is that, you'll chat to people about what your placement is about a little bit, but a lot of people won't know exactly what you're doing. So it's a really good one to do. Sometimes, more towards the end of your fundraising, after maybe you've gone to training, you know a bit more. I think that good.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did a Honduran one, didn't you?
I did. I themed it around the place that I went. I went to Honduras on my placement.
Yeah. And I did the same. Yeah, I did a curry and cocktail night because I'll be going to India. And I've never actually made a proper curry from scratch before. So, it's a time to improve your skills.
She did well. She did really well.
And you can, it's also really great because it gets you in that headspace where you're thinking about your placement and you're thinking about what kind of food you might be eating out there. And like I say, I think it is a good one to do maybe after training if possible. And there's also, if you've been doing other stuff and this is like your last activity, it could be more of like a leaving thing.
Yeah, so true.
Together, say thank you to people who've already donated.
And I think sort of going back to what you're saying about like preparing you for your placement, because the fundraising is so much, just as much as it is about raising the money, it is also getting you ready. And it's quite a daunting thing to think, I'm going overseas for 3 months. But if you tell people about your placement and you do these events, that sort of gets you into the mind frame of going, oh, I'm actually really going, and that's really good to prepare yourself in that way. So yeah, definitely recommend something food related. I mean, we also do a lot of cake sales in our office. So either if you work in an office or your friends or family work in an office, I would highly recommend that, because you can make things, as Johnny and Liv showed you can make quite cheap but also very delicious snacks. You can get your friends and family to cook something too.
Absolutely. And I think, to be honest, one of my favourite things about doing some kind of food sale, normally cake sale, is that you can do them like anywhere there's a few people or a significant amount of people. Like it could be sure in your office or like someone you know's workplace. But I've had volunteers do them on like building sites that they were working at, or like their local library or their local youth group, or
at uni. At uni is a really good one, like in a student union.
Absolutely, especially as a lot of you guys might be like doing exams or revising. I know I spent a lot of time in the library, and I would have been buying those cakes every day.
Absolutely. And they're cheaper than you'd buy them if you bought them in a shop as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like they are kind of getting a bit of a bargain because you can't buy cakes for £1 normally. So definitely think about ways you can give people something back for their donation.
Yeah, that's really key.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna, because we've got a few more viewers, so just to mention, if you didn't catch this at the start, we do have a question and answer section. It should be, I believe, on this side of the screen over here. And basically, if you want to ask us a question, please do. What you need to do is press the little green button at the bottom, type in whatever you want to ask us. No question is absurd. Every question is a good one. We've got one question so far, which is great, and we will answer that. But yeah, and if you then see someone else's question that you think is a really good one, if you want to press the +1 by the side, that will mean we see that as a question that is a priority. So we will definitely answer that. So yeah, please do feel free to ask us anything about the fundraising if you like.
Absolutely anything.
Cool.
Should we answer the question that we've got at the moment?
Let's do it.
Okay, so thank you to the person that sent that in. And the question is, what do I do when people give me cash, please? So this is a really, really common question that comes up all the time. So the short answer would be that, say you do a bake sale. It's the theme we're going with. You have a load of cash. People often ask us, well, how do I get this sent to the charity? So you have to, if you can, put all of that money into your bank account and then donate it straight to your Just Giving page, and always like put in the message box like, thanks to everyone who bought cakes at the cake sale, really appreciate your support. That's really great for people who are going to your page and they see like, oh, you've been actively fundraising, because if the more that you do and the more that you engage with it, the more people see how committed you are and how much you're doing and like how much you really care about this, and they'll therefore be more engaged as well. So yeah, definitely when you're putting donations on, put it straight into your page, say where it came from, do it regularly as well. Like, so don't think, oh, I'll just wait until the end and I'll just put a big lump sum of £800 in, because as we would have mentioned before in assessment days and stuff, the fundraising is about so much more than just hitting that target. In particular, it's really about demonstrating your commitment. Absolutely. So if we just see one anonymous donation for £800, we're gonna, question where did those funds come from? Like, what activities have you been doing? But if, like I said, the page is kept really active, we're going to see like, oh look, they did that cake sale that day, and they've like been organising a pub quiz, or they've been spreading the word, and people have been donating, and it really does, like, number one, demonstrates that commitment, and it stops us hassling you. We don't have to phone you up every 5 minutes.
And you don't want that either. It's really handy if you can just keep us posted. And if things are going well, fantastic. If things aren't going well, get in touch, because as we've said, we are completely used to hearing that people are struggling. It's very common for people to find it difficult, and we are here to help. That's our job, and it's also something that we like to do. So yes, I hope that question is answered.
I was just thinking, I think the question was specifically about cash. So just put that straight on your Just Giving page. If you do have any checks, if they're, say, addressed to your charity, so like BSO, for example, then you would need to get that check sent to the charity, and then we can bank that on your profile on our system, and like attribute that to your total. And make sure you have your name written on the back or a little note in the envelope, because that way we'll know it's yours. If we get a check in that just says like Rally or BSO for £100, say, and we don't know who that's come from, then we can't allocate that to your fundraising. So it's really, really important that if you want that check to come towards your fundraising rather than just go towards the charity in general, that you let us know that's coming in, and that you write your name somewhere, so we know. And maybe also ICS as well. Yes, so, it's just handy, because obviously all charities receive quite a lot of donations, so it's the easier you can make it for us, the easier we can make it for you. Cool. Thanks.
Shall we have a little bit of a chat about some holiday fundraising?
So we were thinking, a lot of you guys are, all at different stages, but if you're going a bit later, you might be off on holidays for a bit beforehand. Very jealous. But so we thought, a common thing that we get told is that I'm worried about my fundraising because I'm going on holiday for a bit. Yeah. So that's going to take a week or 2 weeks out of this time that I have. So we've just got a few ideas that we thought, you know, work really well if you were on holiday. Do you want to get things started?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to start with my favourite one because people always respond really, really well to this idea. So doing what we call a virtual drinks party. So if you say to people, oh, I'm going on placement, but instead of holding a leaving do where I expect you to buy lots of drinks, lots of goodbye drinks, whether that's alcoholic or soft drinks, instead of buying me a drink in person, can you donate that amount to my Just Giving page? And you can sort of set it up so you can say to people, you know, a glass of wine is £4 or £5, donate that to my page. A beer is, you know, how much. So like you can even like make it quite quirky, which is really fun. In fact, our manager, when he was fundraising, he said, instead of buying me a birthday present, can you buy me a book? And when I say buy me a book, I mean donate the cost of that book to my Just Giving page. So similarly, it can be adaptive. So it's a really good thing to do because you're saying to people, you know, rather than use your money on something I don't really need, like a drink, help me out with my fundraising. And it's quite a simple idea, and it's obviously not too intensive in terms of the amount of work you have to do, but it does mean that you're raising awareness as well, because obviously people will go, oh, what do I want that money for? Let's read a little bit on their Just Giving page. You know, the best thing to do, I would advise, is go on Facebook, set up a Facebook event, and you know, say this is my leaving do, my online leaving do, and you know, put a bit of information about what you're asking people to do. Set it for a date, because that way they'll also get reminded when that date comes up. So they'll be invited to it. Some people might do it then, and then maybe in a couple of weeks' time when the event actually is, they'll be reminded and they'll do it if they haven't already done it. So it's a nice, fun, quirky way of fundraising, and you don't actually have to assume those people to be asking them on Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that idea.
Yeah,
I think it does seem to work really well.
Yeah, I've had loads of volunteers who've used that, and they really like it. Yeah, that's a good feedback.
It's a good last minute one as well.
Yes, it is definitely.
Like I say, doesn't take much time to put on. So I was going to say something that I've had volunteers say that they've done quite a bit on holiday is doing like a sponsored challenge of some sort. So obviously a lot of challenges you can do anywhere in the world. Yeah. I've had a volunteer did like a marathon in Bolivia. I've had quite popular one is doing like dares, or you know, getting your friends to suggest like dares or challenges for you to do, and then they sponsor you that amount. So obviously that is something that you could do whilst you're away and could be a bit more creative with it. I think a really good website to do something like that, if you want to do it, like, you know, make it a bit more glitzy, like do some stuff online that you can share on social media, is Dare to Donate. So it's a website that you can link up to your Just Giving page, and it's really, really simple, really easy to use. And basically your friends can go on that link that you've shared on Facebook, or you know, via any social media, and then they choose how much they want to donate. So it could be like, there's 3 stages, I think. So they choose £5, and then when they click on it, underneath that there's like a list of dares that you've come up with or people might have suggested. And then am I right that you do the one that gets the most donations?
Yeah, so I want to add, it might sound a bit complicated us explaining it, but actually if you go on the website, you'll find that it is quite simple, and it's a very like easy laid out website, so you will understand what we mean. But yeah, so you then have to take on just one of those dares, not all of them, and whichever one gets the most votes. But all of those people will have donated to your Just Giving page. And you know, it's good with any challenge, it's good to think about how, I mean, what the people who are donating, what they would like to see you do. So some people have friends who want to do like really embarrassing, horrible, weird things.
I share mine.
Go for it. Yeah.
So yeah, when I was fundraising recently, my lovely colleague Louise wanted me as a dare to dress up as Lady Sovereign. You know,
if you remember her, classic
90s, Love Me or Hate Me. That's classic.
She was great.
Louise wanted me to dress as Lady Sovereign for a full day in the office, which is obviously really embarrassing. And I also had to give a presentation to some of my colleagues and drop in some gangster phrases. So that was
probably something that Jess didn't really want. Louise didn't, you know, she was like, this will actually be a real challenge, like it won't be something that Sarah enjoys.
Yeah.
So it is a really good thing to do, but it doesn't have to be excruciatingly embarrassing. It could be well, I mean, there's so many things you could do essentially, but you know, it might be that you're interested in like fitness challenges, and your family would be like really encouraging that, or it might be taking on something really different. I had a volunteer actually who they said that they were going to Tanzania, so they were going to learn Swahili, and that was their challenge. And you know, that was really difficult because they did learn quite a lot in the time that they had. But you know, to their friends and family, they thought, wow, that's a really impressive thing to do. So definitely worth, you know, taking on a challenge that you think your friends and family will go, wow, that's really impressive.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. And like, I really like what you're saying about, you know, that challenge, learning Swahili, is that it's really nice to link your challenges up with your placement if you can. I mean, like you say, there's honestly like millions of challenges that you could do, and it depends obviously what your friends and family would like to see you doing. But if you could do something like, for example, I had a volunteer did a bike ride over the course of a week. She was at the gym on those standstill bikes, and she cycled the distance from North El Salvador to South El Salvador, because that's where she was going in her placement. And then she made it more fun by like mapping out each bit of her route that she did every day on a map of El Salvador and like sharing that online. So it's a really simple way to like link it up and get people talking about ICS and about the charity, like why you're going there, what sort of work you're going to be doing. Yeah, but I think another good one actually is the £5 food challenge. You might have heard of it. It's basically when you live off £1 a day for 5 days for all of your food and drink. So we talked about it in the video that we shared earlier, and it's just a really great one to link up to development, because obviously the pound a day is meant to represent the global poverty line. So yeah, if you can, you know, give that challenge a go, like it's really good to blog about it and say how you're finding the challenge, what maybe you've learned from it, what was your motivation for doing it, and people do seem to really like see that as a challenge and really get behind it.
I mean, we're definitely pro challenges. One thing I would say with challenges is make sure you don't exclusively do challenges and like lots of different ones, because you'll just be asking the same people for donations. So I would say do one challenge, but don't do any more than that. Cool. We haven't had any more questions, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I mean, one thing that's really important to mention is if you do have any questions, any at all, we are always here to help. Please do give us a call. You should have our details. Whoever your fundraising support officer is, you'll have our details. So give us a call, send us an email, send us a text. Just get in touch and let us know, because as I said, like there isn't a question that is a silly one. That they're all really worthwhile. And you know, if you're struggling, just let us know. We can help.
Yeah, we love hearing from you.
We do.
That's why we have this job.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep in touch, stay positive, stay motivated. You can absolutely do it. And don't worry if you feel like you can't, feel nervous. We all feel like that. But trust me, you will get there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, hope to hear from you guys soon.
Cool. We're gonna finish now, guys, but thanks very much for watching. Take care. Happy Fundraising Friday. Bye.